The Sightmark light laser combo. You asked for it, you got it. Today on Max Headspace 9mm. All right, you've seen my Sightmark light laser combo on my little 300 blackout build a couple of videos back. And a few of you wanted a review, so here it goes. I really like this thing. I don't think it's just a range toy. I actually think it makes a lot of sense, and here's why. This light laser combo is designed after a military product that you can buy, but it's very expensive. It is an inexpensive alternative for civilians. If you get the military piece that this was designed to emulate, you're looking at about $1,400, $1,500. And then you will also need to get a set of goggles that is another couple $1,000s to use with it, because it uses infrared and laser as well. So it's a very expensive setup, and most civilians are just not going to go for that. But for home defense, this is a very sensible thing. So let me tell you why they designed it this way. It has all the design beauty of the military optic. Well, it's not really an optic, it's a guidance system, aid, I suppose, without the price and without being out of reach. So it sits on the top rail. Now you could put it anywhere you want. If you want it on the side or the bottom, it'll go there too. Anywhere you have a Picatinny rail, this will mount. But the reason why it makes sense to put it right here is it was designed to go below your optic. So whether you're using iron sights, or some kind of a prism, or a scope, or a red dot, this will not get in the way of it because it's flat, it sits below. And as such, the laser, when you co-witness the laser with your optic, it is as close as you can get on a rifle for co-witness. Now, if you've ever had a laser anywhere on some kind of a home defense weapon, you'll find that as you get nearer or farther from a wall or an object that you're aiming at, you'll have 2 points. You'll have the dot from your red dot, for example, and then you'll have the laser. And depending on where you go, they'll either get closer together or further apart. And the reason is, if they're not in perfect line with each other, then you have 2 different points and they're going to change. By putting this on the top rail, it is absolutely as close to your optic or your iron sights as you can possibly get it. So you have far less variance as far as where exactly that bullet is going to land, and you can co-witness it very accurately with your optic. This is a nice little Prism Sight that I got recently, and it is by Primary Arms. If you're interested in a review of the Primary Arms the Primary Arms Prism Sight. Say that 10 times, you'll realize it's not as easy as it sounds. It's a non-magnified prism sight. It has an etched reticle in the glass that is black most of the time, but you can turn it on and get it to show up as red, bright in the daylight if you need that, or in any level of light you could possibly imagine. So it's a pretty neat thing, and if you are interested in learning more about this, let me know and I'll do a review on that. But let's just focus on the Sightmark light laser combo. Now, the thing about this that I really like is the buttons are right here in a very convenient place. It is not hard at all for me to, holding this in a normal way, just reach up there and access all the buttons easily. There is the laser, there is the light, and when I turn the light on, it turns off the laser. When I turn on the laser, it turns off the light. If I turn on the third button in the back, it turns on both, and it also turns them off. So it's a really simple thing, which is great, because if you're using this for home defense, you want something simple. You don't want a tiny little light laser combo that uses a tiny little battery that's probably going to go dim after just a very short time, and may go dim when you're not even realizing that the battery's old and needs replaced. And then when you go and need it, it's not working. The smaller it is, the harder your fingers are going to have finding that in a desperate situation. So it comes off very easily. It has one mounting screw right here. It comes off with a penny or a cartridge casing or a screwdriver. It's just a slot, and a couple of turns will take it off of your rail. All right, so you might notice I've got a piece of black electrical tape on here. The reason I did that is it comes with this really ugly warning label that's bright white, kind of like the one on the bottom. And I don't like having this glaring white thing sitting on the top of my all-black gun. It just looks ugly to me, and I already know don't shine this in somebody's eyes like the label says, so I covered it up with black electrical tape, which can be peeled off at any time if somebody wants to know not to shine this in somebody's eyes. Okay, the unit itself. Let's talk about the pros and cons. Why would you want this? Yes, it's a lot of fun. I'll get this out of the way right now. The first thing that drew me to this is it's a lot of fun. However, on a serious note, for home defense, you need to identify the target. You can't go stumbling around in your dark house shooting at anything that moves. You need a light. And you don't want a light with a very narrow beam. You want a floodlight. Something like this, a bright, powerful light, so that you can identify the target. You do not want to shoot your gun at anything that is unsafe. This can go on a shotgun. This can go on anything with a Picatinny rail. So whatever you use for home defense, a light laser combo makes a lot of sense. You need to identify the target, and you need to be safe. And it makes sense to have a light, a floodlight, mounted to your gun. A narrow beam means you have to aim the gun exactly at the target to identify it. A narrow beam is not a good idea. A narrow beam means you're using your gun as a flashlight, and you know you're not supposed to aim a gun at anything you do not intend to destroy. So, floodlight, which is what this is. A lot of gun lights are not floodlights. Secondly, the laser. Why do you want a laser on a gun? Most of the time when you are stumbling around in a situation where you think you might be under some kind of danger, you want to use your eyes as best as possible. Having a gun up in your face basically makes the side of your face, if you're right-handed, for me it would be my right side, a blind side. I'm not going to see as well looking through my optic and some of the things on the right-hand side of me. A laser means whether I have this down at my side, whether I have this just kind of up at my shoulder but I'm looking around, whatever, the laser designates where the bullet is going to go. And that is really important, because when you are scared, you're going to have both eyes wide open, you're going to be looking around, and you want as much visibility as possible. Narrowing your field of view down to what you can see through an optic is not a good idea in that kind of a situation. You're talking about serious close quarters here. A laser makes a lot of sense. Now, I've had people in the comments section say, you put a light and a laser on a home defense weapon and you actually wind up shooting somebody and the jury is going to send you to jail because you just created some kind of a ninja death weapon. Well, maybe the jury, if they're anti-gun, would think that a light and a laser on your gun makes you some kind of a predator that was actually hoping somebody would break into your house so you could go hunting on them. But the problem is a lot of people are not educated. If you want to be serious about a home defense weapon that you can actually use and be effective with and not be more of a danger to yourself and others, you need to consider light and laser. And not just a little teeny model that, you know, is cute and small and doesn't take up much space on your gun, but a big, fugly thing like this that's easy to use, easy to find the buttons to, uses a big, long-lasting battery that has much runtime on it. Not little dime-size batteries, you know, that are going to only last maybe 45 minutes to an hour. I wouldn't advise that at all. unless maybe it's on a pistol or something that's really small and you just can't put a light laser combo this size on a pistol. So those are the reasons why I think this would make a good choice for home defense. This is windage and elevation adjustable, and it holds 0. It's a very good setup. It's made out of plastic. Now the military models are made out of forged aluminum, and they're watertight and all that kind of thing. I would guess this is probably watertight too. It is an all one piece, I'm guessing plastic case, but it's very heavy plastic. This is milled out of a billet of plastic. And then it has a cover on the front side here that is put on with screws and has a gasket. So I would expect that this thing would take quite a bit of moisture or even getting dunked in water and continue to work, though I haven't done that myself.
Okay, as you look at the top of this light laser combo, you see the button on the left side is the laser button, on the right it's the light, and in the front it's both. These are just little click buttons, very easy to find. They kind of bulge up, they're easy to see when you're not looking straight at this. You got your windage and elevation knobs, you got your clamp, you have a tethered knob with a rubber gasket inside of it for the battery compartment. The cover that closes this thing up is really tough. It's thick and strong. I think it's made out of metal, actually. It's the one part that is made out of metal, so it's not going to flex when you torque these screws down, and that's why I think this thing is watertight, because there's a rubber gasket inside. Now here's the thing that's really cool. If you look at the front, you see how the light and the laser has this space in between? With this mounted on the top of your rifle, there is a space for your front sight post. That's what they designed this for. The military designed their version of this to sit on top of the rifle right behind the front sight post. And of course the sight post doesn't interfere with the light or the laser because of that design. This is also the same way. They designed it at Sightmark as close to the military version as possible, but much, much cheaper. This is an LED, very bright, a lot of life in it. And I would say that the overall height of this from the top of the rail to the top of the case, not the knob, but the case, is less than 3/4 of an inch. In fact, it's closer to 5/8. So it's really flat. It looks pretty bulky, but really it's not. It's probably, it might be the width of a pack of cigarettes, but only 2/3 as long. So it's really, what am I saying? Nobody knows what a pack of cigarettes looks like anymore. I don't know what else to call it. I don't know how else to give you a reference for size. It weighs probably a 1/4 pound, so it's not very heavy. And it's just a really well-built thing. I really like this.
The price on this is $149, or at least it was when I got it. I am not disappointed in the least. I think this is a really good tool that I will be able to use the rest of my life. Now, as far as flashlights go, this is one of the best I have seen for a firearm. Yes, you can definitely get bigger flashlights for your firearm if you want that, but in a flashlight this size, this is about as powerful as you're going to find. Now, go on their website if you want to see how long it runs. I can't remember what that is, but it's adequate. It's more than adequate, and these are batteries that you keep in your house. You buy them in a pack of 7 or 8. You always have some lying around, so it's not like a real weird watch battery that you have to go down to the jewelry store to get. So this is an incredibly powerful light. I took it out at night one time when I was out in the desert, and I could see very, very clearly 100, 150 feet away. It would be able to identify an animal or a person or something within 150 feet, which is really all you really need out of this. You don't need something that's going to act like a street light. You need something that just is adequate for you to be able to see what you're looking at.
Okay, here is the light. Now, the center is about, 2 feet in diameter. but it lights up the periphery really well. It's really quite adequate to see. I can look around the room and I can make out everything in this room just from the refracted light. And if you put the laser on, you can't see it. The camera's not able to pick it up, but it puts a bright green dot right in the center of that beam.
The laser is really amazing. This is about the most powerful laser you can get in something that mounts on a gun. I had this laser shining on a hillside 2 miles away, and I was able to see it very, very clearly. It's a green laser. It is incredibly powerful. It's not going to show up brightly on a sunny day. You can shine it on a sunny day into a shadow under a tree or something and see it. But if you're thinking that you're going to be able to shine this green laser on a sunny day on your target paper at the range and be able to see it at 100 yards, you're going to be disappointed. But on a cloudy day, it is very good out to about 50 meters. You can see it. And if you shine it in the shadows or you create some kind of a shadow shelf above your target paper, you will be able to see it. On a really cloudy day, or even a slightly dusk situation where it's starting to get dark outside, you'll be able to see this pretty easily.
Okay, so I'm going to give you some kind of an idea about the power of this laser. I am about 50 yards away from the target paper on that door over there. Now, I'm not shooting in town at a garage door. Don't get nervous. I just want you to see I'm about 50 yards away at least, and I want you to see what I see. Now, the camera's not picking it up, but standing back 50 yards away, I can see clear as day there is a bright green dot on this target paper. Let's see if the camera will pick it up. Right there. That is very easy for me to see, and it's just early afternoon on a cloudy day. So yeah, I can recommend this for daylight shooting under certain circumstances. So I don't know how well this will work, but here I am in my house.
It's pretty dark. There's a few lights on, but most of the places it's pretty dark. When I look at this thing, I'm shining it about as far as I can inside my house, from one bedroom down a hall to another. It is just as bright as you could possibly get for a laser. I'm just super impressed with this thing. And of course, it's brilliantly bright up close.
So yeah, pretty cool laser.
The question of the laser is, how quickly can you pick it up? Is this a laser that you can easily see and designate where that is pointed fast? Well, it takes a little bit of time to really look and find it in the daylight. But at night, it is incredibly bright. I can't even begin to say how impressed I am with the brilliance of this laser. All I can tell you is you won't be disappointed. You will not find a more powerful laser on a weapon light that you can put on a gun. You just won't. This is it. I've looked at a lot of them. I don't know if I've looked at every single one that exists, but this is about as powerful as you can get without getting a license. That's what I'm going to say. And that matters to me because I've got lots of lasers. I've bought cheapo lasers. I've bought, you know, lots of different things. This is the one I keep going back to. This is the one I'm impressed with. And yes, it cost about $150, but I am not disappointed. So, if you want to put a light laser combo on a home defense weapon or a hunting weapon or whatever else, highly recommend it. This is Max Headspace 9mm. Have a good one.